Hey Helen, it's been quite a while. Haven't forgotten about your mom, have you?
Thought you would contact me one of these days.
Oh, so you've been waiting for me to contact you, huh? It's nice to have a mom who cares about her daughter. No matter how old you get, a mother's love is everlasting.
I doubt that's true for a mom like you.
Excuse me?
I heard you showed up at that bar I was at with a friend.
Yes, well, to be honest, I saw you downtown and followed you, which led me to the bar. All I wanted to do was to talk to you.
When I went to the restroom, you approached my friend saying that you were my long-lost mother, all teary eyes and all. And that's how you got my line ID, right? Got her all sympathetic with your sob story. After I returned to my seat, you had already left. I told her the truth about you and how she was totally duped into giving you my line ID. She was furious that you had pulled that con on her. What was it that you said to her? That your husband abandoned you for a pretty young girl, leaving you all by your lonesome self and penniless, and that he wouldn't allow you to see your loving daughter? Wow, you sure know how to concoct a cock and bull story. You're the one that abandoned me after hooking up with some guy and divorcing Dad.
But the fact still remains that I'm your long-lost mother. How long has it been? It has to be close to 20.
The fact that you know what I look like even after 20 years can only mean that you've been snooping around for some time now, been checking up on me.
Snooping around? You make me out to some kind of criminal. I was hoping you would see it as a mother concerned about her child.
I was only 5 years old when you up and left with some guy, and on top of that, you sold the house from right under us. You left us homeless for God's sake. Don't give me that loving mother bullshit. It won't work with me.
Oh, you knew about that, huh?
Yeah, there was someone who filled me in on all the details.
I guess you had to find out someday. Oh well.
So, what the hell do you want? All this snooping around, sweet-talking my friend to pry information out of her? Now that you have my line ID, there must be a reason for going out of your way to get it, so...
You're right about that. No use kicking that can down the road, I suppose. May as well ask you straight out.
Ask me what?
I heard that you recently got married. What a surprise! You married a lawyer. I suppose it's better than marrying someone in law enforcement. We can't have that.
It's none of your business who I marry.
Yeah, it's none of my business, I guess. But if you're just some ordinary girl, that wouldn't pass muster.
Excuse me? What are you talking about?
Your father is a criminal, and you conned some lawyer to marry you? Don't look so good, my dear.
Pardon me?
Oh, don't tell me you knew nothing about this. It's not your fault, all things considered. You were only 5 years old when the whole thing went down. I remember your father saying he got caught embezzling the company, and I clearly remember you turning to him and saying, "What's embezzled, Dad?" I would have burst out laughing if the situation wasn't so dire. You were just a kid at that time. Figured it wouldn't do anything good to explain things, so I didn't and left it at that. But even after 20 years, the fact remains that your father is a criminal, an embezzler. I don't know what BS you used to con this guy, this lawyer husband of yours, to marry you, but I see right through your scam.
What scheme? I have no idea what you're talking about.
I get it. I know you don't want to face the facts. I divorced him because I didn't want to continue living as the wife of a criminal.
You keep saying Dad's a criminal. Where the hell did that BS come from? As for the embezzlement or whatever it was, that was all settled years ago.
It may have swept under the rug, but the fact remains that your father has a criminal record. Am I right?
He has no criminal record.
I know you want to believe that. After all, he's your father, but you really shouldn't turn a blind eye to the facts. I divorced him years ago, so I have no relationship with this criminal family. But you, Helen, you're his daughter. There's no escaping this fact. I'm sure you want to keep this little fact a secret from your husband. To do that, I demand that you purchase a $1 million home in the suburbs and transfer the deeds to me. I'll keep my mouth shut about all of this.
$1 million home? Are you nuts?
You know that area in the east of the city? The posh Hilldale area. There's a house there I want. The entire house is what I've been dreaming of my whole life. You buy that house for me, and I keep my mouth shut and your father's criminal past.
Why the hell would I buy a lavish house in a swank area like Hilldale? You have totally lost it, Mother.
You sure you want to act like that towards me?
You know what? I think you'd better do a little more background checking before you start making such preposterous allegations. Goodbye, Mother. Hey, Bruce, you there? Can we talk?
Hey, Helen. Sure thing. I'm on my break. What's up?
There's something I need to tell you later on tonight, but before I do that, I wanted to apologize in advance.
What's the matter? You okay? You're not in trouble or anything, are you?
No, I'm fine. It's just that something unbelievable just happened, and I wanted to talk to you about it.
Something unbelievable? What do you mean?
You know about my mom, right? You know I haven't seen her in years. Well, she contacted me today.
Wait, what? Your mom? The one that abandoned you when you were just a kid?
Yup, one and the same.
But why? It's been like 20 years. You haven't even been in contact with her and she just pops up out of nowhere?
Yeah, she just appeared. I was at a bar with a friend of mine, and when I went to the bathroom, she approached my friend and got information out of her.
You're not serious.
She gave her a big, long sob story about how my father abandoned her and proceeded to pry my line ID out of her. My friend was furious after I told her.
That does not sound like a rational person.
I just received a line from her. You wouldn't believe what she had to say.
What did she want?
Well, first off, she insisted that my father was a criminal and that he embezzled the company he used to work for.
Really? But I thought that whole issue was settled years ago.
Yeah, right? I kept trying to tell her that, but she just ignored me. My mom divorced my father right when he was being accused of crime. It's as if she ran away without even giving him a chance to prove his innocence. Probably never even bothered to check how it all turned out. And still continues to have this mistaken belief that he's a criminal.
I see. And so what did she want? She didn't just contact you after all these years just to tell you that.
She apparently found out somehow that I was married to a lawyer.
Huh? What do I have to do with all this?
She threatened to spill the beans to you about my father's criminal past unless I purchased a $1 million house for her in the Hillsdale area. You know, that ritzy area north of the city?
Excuse me? Buy her a house? Is she nuts?
That's what I said.
That's completely a case of blackmail. Who's the criminal here, for God's sake?
Yeah, right?
And what's with her demanding $1 million home? And in that swanky Hillsdale neighborhood?
Apparently, the place is up for sale now.
Hillsdale is one of the richest neighborhoods in the country.
I have no reason to be blackmailed, but then again, we can't just ignore this, right?
Of course not. This can't be simply brushed aside.
Can I leave this up to you? Would you handle it for me?
I'll get more details from you later tonight, but as far as I've heard, this is pretty serious. We really need to look into this on a legal basis and bring charges if we have to.
Thanks, Bruce. I knew I could count on you.
Oh, by the way, did you talk to your father about this already?
No, not yet. He apparently had a late-night teleconference with an overseas client. I think he's still asleep. I'll talk to him about it later.
I see. All right. Make sure you explain all the details to him when he wakes up. I should be home at about 7 p.m. or so. The three of us can sit down tonight and work out what we're going to do about this mess. You up for it?
Definitely. Thanks, Bruce.
Helen, are you there? Come on, pick up. Did you even go to the real estate agent and put a down payment at that house? I want to move in as soon as possible.
Didn't I tell you I had no reason to be doing that?
Are you still beating around the bush about this for Pete's sake? I'm serious about this. Don't tempt me, girl.
I'm curious. Why a $1 million mega mansion? Why not a little log cabin out on the lake? Not that I'm suggesting buying it for you. It just seems like this whole thing is, how can I put it, predetermined?
It's just that I thought it was about time. My sweetheart and I want our love nest.
Your sweetheart, huh? How old are you anyway?
You may be too young to realize this, but my sweetheart and I have been dreaming of living in a luxurious and cushy life. That wonderful house in Hillsdale is the perfect house for us. That place has a spacious backyard with a pool and jacuzzi. Just thinking about that place makes me feel so happy.
I have no obligation whatsoever to help you achieve that selfish little dream of yours.
Stop being so stubborn. You really want me to give the game away? I repeat what I said. Buy me that $1 million home or the truth will come out about your father's criminal past, and your marriage to that lawyer husband of yours will cease to exist. Your father's criminal past, his embezzlement of company funds, all the dirty laundry will be hung out to dry for all to see.
If you're talking about my father, we're living with him right now. Actually, you contacted me just in time. I'll switch the phone over to my husband. Hold on a second.
Wait, what? Your husband? The lawyer husband?
Hello, this is Helen's husband, Bruce. Finally get to talk. I wasn't aware of your line ID, so I'm using Helen's. Hope you don't mind. Helen filled me in on all the details regarding your relationship with her.
You're Helen's husband? You're that lawyer, right?
That's right.
Oh yeah, okay, I see. You're the guy Helen made up.
I would like you to give me permission to use your LAN ID on your phone.
Yeah, I'm sure you'd like that, but sorry, can't do it. Request denied.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Excuse me?
This is Bruce. We talked earlier.
Pardon me. How's you get my line ID? Is this really Helen's husband?
I have my ways. I usually don't contact people online when it comes to legal matters, but as Helen's husband and as a legal expert on such matters, I will handle this matter on her behalf.
Okay, but,
What you did to Helen was something I was not going to let go unpunished.
what the hell are you talking about? All I did was ask my daughter to help me after all those years of hardship that I was forced to endure because of her father. $1 million house is a small price to pay.
I'm afraid you weren't asking in a legal sense. This is pure and simple blackmail. What you said was, you buy me this $1 million home or you reveal her father's criminal past. Sounds like blackmail.
Bruce was your name, right? I have no idea what kind of BS Helen fed you, but the fact that her father has a criminal record is pure and simple. A fact. He's a criminal. Check your facts before you go accusing me of blackmail, Mr. Lawyer.
I'm afraid that is not true. A complete misunderstanding on your part.
It's no misunderstanding. Why do you think I divorced him? I don't know what happened to him after I divorced him, but the fact remains that he has criminal record is irrefutable.
I'm sorry to break this to you, but your ex-husband, Helen's father, was innocent of all charges. As a matter of fact, he was the one who tried to uncover the criminal behavior of this embezzlement scheme.
Excuse me?
At first, he was suspicious of the culprits and dug deeper to try and uncover the truth. Along the way, they tricked him, and he was at first accused as the mastermind of this embezzlement scheme. But after further investigation, it was found that he was not at all to blame, but was the one trying to uncover the real culprits, which in the end was caught red-handed. Your husband was cleared of all charges. As a matter of fact, he was deemed a hero for what he did for the company and subsequently promoted. It was my father who told me this story. It just so happens that my father was a lawyer too, and he represented your husband in this case. My father told me this story over and over through the years, and he and your husband remained close friends. That's how I met Helen.
The whole story seems to be a little bit convenient.
Well, it's the truth, believe it or not. So it all boils down to the facts. He has no criminal record, and the three of us are living together now.
But this can't be right. How about my dream home? What happens to my $1 million home?
That's really not something you should be worrying about now.
Pardon me?
About 20 years ago, you abandoned Helen, who was only 5 years old at the time, and disappeared with some stranger. Not only that, you sold the house that your parents left you, in which you were all living at the time, and eloped with some guy you had a long-time relationship with. Did you even know that Helen grew up living at a boarding school until she graduated from high school?
Excuse me, a boarding school?
Yes, it was only after she landed a job at our law firm that she reunited with her father. What I can't forgive is what you did after. You never contacted her at all during those 20 years. Not a birthday card or a Christmas card, nothing. But you show up all of a sudden and it's to blackmail her.
But I needed the money.
Helen had a hard life, and it's all because of you. I love my wife and have high regard for her father, who has immense integrity and decency. That's why I cannot allow you to go unpunished. You have zero right to this family. Simply put, you are not a part of this family. You're a stranger, a nobody. I will assign a criminal lawyer to the case from our firm and will pursue legal action against you.
Wait, you can't do that. What are you talking about?
Blackmail and defamation is a serious offense. I would hire a good lawyer if I were you.
But this won't fly. I mean, you don't even know where I am.
Oh, don't worry about that. We checked you out already. We know everything about you. How do you think I got your line ID? We have our ways. I'm a lawyer after all. I also know you're heavily in debt at the moment, and you're living with some guy who's overly possessive. With all that info on you, you won't get very far if you try to run. I'm sure you'll be ordered to pay compensation and damages. The lawyers will work out the amount. You can pay all at once or in installments if you're financially strapped. I don't think you can get out of paying it either. There are consequences.
Please don't do this. Forget what I said. Forget the house. I don't want it. Please.
And one more thing. I don't ever want to see you near Helen ever again. You stayed away for 20 years. You can stay away for another 20.
As soon as my husband ended that conversation, I heaved a sigh of relief. I didn't really realize it at the time, but I guess this whole affair had me all wound up. I heard later that my mom and her guy were in a state of panic after our lawyer contacted them. But her boyfriend apparently knew nothing of her blackmail scheme. Wanting nothing to do with additional debt, he dumped her and disappeared. Well, that blackmailing scheme was the game changer for her. She was subsequently sent off to prison for her crimes. I suppose she'll be released someday, but our lawyer insisted that there will be a restraining order put on her when she gets out. She won't be able to get anywhere near me, or she'll be sent right back to prison. By the time she gets out, she'll definitely be up there in age. Probably go straight to a senior citizen's home. I have a feeling she'll never repent for what she did.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Hello, Dolores. I heard that you're going to visit your parents' house soon. Apparently you're going to be there for a while. Could you tell me why? Huh? Did I tell you about this already? Because I don't think I've told even Araldo or his father about this yet. One of the mother-in-laws of your friend is my friend. I heard it from her. Don't tell me, but is this you preparing to get divorced with Araldo? Or are you just preparing to live separately with him? No, it's neither of that. You see, I've been assigned to work at an office near my parents' house by my company. My parents' house was close by, so I thought I might as well just move in with them. I see. So that's the reason. I thought you were getting divorced with Araldo. To think that I was so excited that I was going to finally be free from living in a multi-generational household. Looks like you still hate me as usual, mother-in-law. Of course I do. I mean, me and my husband would never have moved in with you two if my husband didn't suddenly get hip pains. Not only that, but I was making preparations for Geraldo to marry a daughter of a friend of mine, but you appeared out of nowhere and married him. I heard that Geraldo only met this friend of yours after he graduated from college. But me and Geraldo have been going out ever since we were in high school. What do you mean I came out of nowhere? If anything, this marriage proposal of yours is what came out of nowhere. Shut up. All that matters is that Geraldo wasn't supposed to marry you. That's the reason I don't like you, Dolores. And I'm the type of person who shows no mercy to anyone I don't like. I see. Well, at least that makes dealing with you easier then. I also am the type of person who thinks that it isn't necessary to try to get along with someone you don't like. Huh? What's with that attitude? You talk like you're my equal or something. You're not my equal, Dolores. I'm your mother-in-law, which means that you have to do what I say. Yeah, I've heard that before. Maybe if you actually did anything helpful around the house, I would have believed you. But the truth is that you just lay around all day doing nothing. Seriously, not only do you not have a job, but you don't even do the housework. Anyways, it seems like this conversation isn't going to go anywhere. Which is why it's alright if we just end our conversation here, right? I already answered your questions, and talking to each other anymore would be a waste of time since we'd only annoy each other. What do you mean, a waste of time? I told you not to take that attitude with me, didn't I? I'm still talking to you, so you can't just leave. I'm currently in the process of packing my stuff, so goodbye.
Hi, Dolores. Can you talk right now? There's something I need to tell you.
Hi, Geraldo. What's the matter?
You see, I think we have a bit of a troublesome situation on our hands.
What do you mean, a troublesome situation? Does this have something to do with your mother?
Yep. You see, I found out that she's been entering our side of the house when we were both outside.
What? Really?
Luckily, she wasn't able to enter your room since it was always locked, but she had the spare key to my room, so...
Well, it's not like I had anything to hide. I already moved all my valuable items and things I use for my work to my parents' house.
I see. Well, it's good if that's the case, but it seems that I was right when I decided to prepare for what might happen after you started working from home. I only recently found out that Mom was going in and out of our side of the house recently when I set up a camera, but judging by how she was moving around like she already knew the place completely, there's a high possibility that she's already done this several times before.
What? Really? Do you have any idea as to why she might be doing this?
I seriously have no idea. I checked the cameras and it doesn't really seem like she's stealing anything, so I don't know. Maybe she's just doing it to spy on us or something. The silver lining is that you already moved the stuff you use for work to your parents' house, so she wasn't able to mess with that.
I mean, I couldn't really work while I was constantly anxious as to whether your mom would enter my room or not. I remember how she always used to barge into my room whenever I forgot to lock it and would tell me to do the housework. I told her that I was working, but she just laughed at me and said that I was just looking at my computer all day and that there was no way that was going to make any money.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. My mom still doesn't understand that in this day and age, people can work from home as long as they have an internet connection. Oh, there's one more important thing I need to tell you.
What is it?
Do you remember that my dad talked earlier about how the current multi-generational house we live in is getting quite old, and so either he would rebuild it or we would move?
Oh yeah, I heard that your grandfather was the one who built this house, and it hasn't been renewed ever since.
Yeah, some of the wood is starting to get old, and there's a risk that it could just collapse if a major earthquake were to occur. Anyways, my mom suddenly brought up this topic while you were gone.
Why? Wait, let me guess. Knowing your mother, it was probably something about you guys moving without me, right?
Yep, exactly. She said that we should make plans while Dolores isn't here and just quietly move out without telling her anything.
What? Your mom said that to you?
Yeah, she must think that her son and her husband would side with her no matter what or something. When in reality, me and Dad are almost at the end of our patience with her. Well, at least thanks to her trust of us, her secret plans are no longer a secret, though. Yeah, and there was something I wanted to ask your advice/permission for concerning the matter.
My advice/permission?
It's a bit too important to discuss by text, so could me and my dad come visit you at your parents' house this weekend? If possible, I want to talk to your parents about this as well. It's something really important that'll decide the future of our families.
Alright, I'll ask them if they're available right now. Hi, I'm back. They said that it's fine if you come on Saturday afternoon.
Hey, what time would be good for you guys? We can come whenever.
My mom said that the 5 of us should have lunch together at her house.
What? Really?
Yeah, my parents like you, so apparently you're always welcome here.
I see. I'm happy to hear that, I guess. Alright, I'll accept your mom's invitation. We'll be there around noon on Saturday.
Alright, we'll be waiting for you.
Yep. Tell your parents thanks for the invitation.
Okay. Oh, and Mom was asking what you guys wanted to eat for lunch.
Anything is fine, really, but if I had to choose something, then maybe pasta, I guess? Well, then, see you later.
Yep, see you later.
Hi, Dolores. Thanks for having us over today.
No problem. It was a pleasure. I was a bit surprised at what you had to tell us, but I see. If your father is under this much pressure, then it's probably best if we set this plan into motion as soon as possible, right? It's a miracle that he was able to hold out this long. Seriously, I didn't know that your mom was that much of a problem for you two.
Yeah, my dad is a really patient man, which is probably why he was able to put up with her for so long. He says that she wasn't like this when she was younger, but over the years she suddenly became more and more, well, you know. Anyway, I agree. We need to set this plan in motion as soon as possible. I mean, I can't stand my mom always bullying you for no reason as well. Seriously, you're the one who should be getting mad at her for making you do all the housework when you have work to do and she doesn't. Oh, and don't worry about me and Dad. We've already talked this through before, and that was the conclusion we came up with.
I understand. This is partly because you were thinking about what was best for me, right? Thanks for that.
Don't worry about it. Well, that's it, I guess. Me and Dad will do most of the work, so you won't have to do much, but I just want you to make sure that my mom doesn't find out about our plan.
Yep, understood. Long time no see, Dolores. You see, I'm texting you today because I have good news. Long time no see. Good news, huh? Yup. Well, good news for me, at least. I guess this is going to be bad news for you, though. Just what in the world are you talking about? The demolition of the multi-generational house we've been living in until now starts today. What? A demolition? Yup. We waited for you to go to your parents' house and moved out as a family so we could demolish the house. Me, my husband, and my son, the 3 of us. It looks like using your work as an excuse to move to your parents' house and not coming home even once was a mistake. Oh, is that so? Yup. Even my husband and my son have run out of kindness for you because they did everything I told them to do and demolished the house and found a new place to live just like I told them to. Without any complaints as well. Of course, we're not going to be telling you our new address no matter what, so this means that you and Geraldo are going to get divorced.
Is that so? I understand. Goodbye then.
Yeah, bye. Still, I thought that you would have a bit more to say than just, is that so? Does that mean that you're fine with getting divorced with Geraldo? I mean, you have been living at your parents' house for the past few months, so I guess it was only a matter of time. I'll make sure to tell Geraldo about this. I feel so much better now that you're gone from my life. Finally, things are going to go back to the way things were.
Hi, Geraldo. I just got a text from your mother. I don't think I need to remind you, but don't believe her when she says I want to get a divorce with you.
Of course I won't. What did she say?
She told me that our old house was going to be demolished. I guess. Not only that, but she also talked about how you and your dad were on her side, and now how you guys wouldn't tell her our new address. Oh, and she said something about how you and me would have to get divorced now.
You say that so simply, but what I'm guessing is that Mom was a bit more dramatic when she told you this, right? Let me guess, she was probably acting as if she had won or something, right? I seriously don't know what's giving her the idea that we're on her side, though. Because it's not like me and Dad have been actively supporting her or anything. I mean, does she seriously think that me and Dad have just forgotten about all the shit she's done over the years?
That's what happens to people when they get overly narcissistic, I guess. They always think that they're always the one who's right. Do you want me to show you her text tomorrow when we meet?
Yeah. Dad says it's partly his fault for being too patient with her all these years. Because every time she messed up, all she would get was at most a scolding. Not only that, but not having to do anything all day, every day for the past 30 or so years probably has something to do with it. I mean, I remember that she stopped doing the housework and was making Dad do everything since I was in, middle school. Oh, sorry, that was completely unrelated to your question, I guess. Well, I'd appreciate it if you could show me those texts tomorrow.
Alright, I'm already at our new house, by the way. I'll start unpacking the stuff I already brought from the stuff that seemed necessary.
Sorry, I had to leave that to you. Alright then, looks like we're in the endgame. Me and Dad are gonna go and meet Mom and tell her the news.
Understood. Good luck.
This is terrible, Dolores. Dolores, answer my phone calls. Since when did you fool my husband and son into siding with you?
Wow, look at all these notifications.
You have to pay me alimony.
What? What's this suddenly about an alimony? Just because you were supposed to move with your family into a new house, but the destination instead happened to be your parents' house, doesn't mean you can get mad at me, you know.
Judging by your tone of voice, you knew about this, didn't you?
Well, yes. By the way, your husband divorced you, right? Or is it just that you weren't included when they said that you would be moving as a family? Or maybe your son Geraldo officially cut ties with you and told you that he wouldn't tell you the new address, no matter what.
All of that just happened. Why do I have to be kicked out of the family like this? But it's you who should be kicked out of the family, no matter how you look at it.
It just means that you're the only one who thought that way.
Why?
I mean, for several reasons, probably. First of all, with Geraldo. You tried to forcefully choose who he would marry, even though he already had a girlfriend. And when he did marry this girlfriend, you started bullying her just because I ruined your plans. And with your husband, you used up all of the inheritance his parents left for him in 2 years, even though it wasn't meant for you. And when he confronted you about this, not only did you show no sign of remorse, but you started using the money you two were saving up for retirement.
How do you know about all of that?
They told me? Not just that, but I heard from them about several other times you messed up. Be it large or small, but in my opinion, it's a miracle that your husband didn't divorce you sooner. Well, it probably has something to do with how your husband is such a patient man.
Dolores, stop talking so much and just tell me your new address. Oh, and convince my husband not to get divorced with me. And convince Geraldo to not cut ties with me.
Oh? But I thought you hated me. And you're still going to make all these demands from me?
Now's not the time to talk about such unimportant things.
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I won't be able to help you with any of your demands.
Why not?
Because just like how your husband and your son are on my side, I'm on your husband and your son's side as well.
Huh? Then just be on my side as well.
That's not how it works, mother-in-law. Well, it looks like there's no point in talking to you, so I'm going to leave now.
Huh?
Wasting each other's time is not going to benefit either of us, so goodbye.
Dolores? But this isn't a waste of time. This is an extremely important matter for me. Oh, I know. I'll accept you as a part of our family from now on, so help me. Why aren't you replying, Dolores? Dolores, I don't understand. Why did my husband and son suddenly turn on me? But up until now, they were always on my side. This is all your fault, Dolores. I know you did something to trick them into siding with you or something. I knew letting Geraldo marry you was a bad idea from the start.
My mother-in-law was sent back to her hometown along with the stuff she thought she was going to bring to her new house. I only heard about the details from Geraldo and his father later on, but apparently my mother-in-law, as usual, did none of the work herself and made her son and husband do all the work. That's probably why she didn't realize anything, including how all of her stuff was sent to a different location to her son and husband's, until the day they were supposed to move, which is when her husband told her about the divorce and her brother came to pick her up in his car. She now lives with her brother's family in the house they grew up in. She lives in a small corner of the house and is no longer as proud as she used to be when I lived with her, it seems. As there she was just some strange relative that was living with her brother since she had nowhere else to go. At a later date, Geraldo's parents got divorced with the help of a lawyer. The amount of money my mother-in-law spent that wasn't hers goes up to several tens of thousands of euros, But in the end, it was decided that there would be no property division after the divorce, and she would pay back the money she spent monthly. She had to get the money from somewhere, so she found a job and started working. Luckily, she was hired by a local company to do work. Even she, who had basically zero work experience, could do. But it seems that people in her hometown already knew about that personality of hers, as many of them knew her when they were students in school. Geraldo's father says that she wasn't like this when they were younger and when they first fell in love, but the people who knew her from school, on the other hand, say that she was always the narcissistic and selfish type, and her husband was just too kind of a man to see it at first. This being the case, my ex-mother-in-law spends most of her time not working alone at home, only sometimes talking to her relatives, which were the only people that would ever talk to her.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.